What is going on, guys? Stefan here with you, S&E's Garage. I can't believe we're making this video already. This year has gone so fast, but we are coming up on the 1 year mark of owning our Lexus GS-F here, and I wanted to take the time to make a video, talk about our ownership experience, talk about the things we've done, and talk about the things that we are going to continue doing to this car because we are nowhere near finished. So a year ago, almost to the day, I took a leap of faith and we traded in our 2021 Toyota Camry TRD for a 6 year older and 10 to 15,000 mile more vehicle. Now, if you park this next to a Camry TRD, like you see in the video right now, you'll see that they are just on a completely different level. The Lexus looks a lot more elegant, yet sporty at the same time, whereas the Camry, especially in the TRD or the XSE trim, is a little bit more of like a boy racer type thing. So as a 31 going on 32-year-old, this car definitely fits the bill compared to a Camry. Now, we built our channel largely due to the TRD Camry, and a lot of my Toyota content with that car helped me get to the level that we are at now. So I am by no means knocking that car, but you simply just cannot compare the GS-F to a TRD Camry. They're in completely different leagues, and I still cannot believe that I own one of these. So for the year that we've had it and the roughly 9,000 miles that we've put on this car, my ownership experience with it has been absolutely flawless. When I was buying the car, I was offered an aftermarket warranty, one of those warranties the dealers, try to sell you. And I declined it. Number one, because I am an automotive mechanic by trade. And number two, that badge on the front of the car. This powertrain has been around since around 2007 when it debuted in the Lexus ISF. Same engine, same transmission. However, this engine is slightly tweaked a little bit. It's got a little bit more compression and a couple of different differences to squeeze some more power out of it. But fundamentally, this is an antiquated, it's an old engine, but it is tried and true, and it is very durable. So I did not foresee any major component failures that would necessitate an aftermarket warranty because, again, it's a Toyota Lexus product. And I'm glad that I didn't, because other than routine maintenance and some, how do I say this, some things that were neglected from the previous owners, like the front brakes were in dire need of replacement. We did that on the channel. I have not had to replace any components due to failure. I have upgraded several components. Like I said, when we did the front brakes, we upgraded them. We did do a coilover suspension. We have the car sitting nice and pretty on a set of RR Racing coilovers. We have some aftermarket wheels on it. If you were watching the channel back when we got this car, you'll know that one of our wheels was severely bent, and the dealership actually did the right thing and got us a new wheel. But other than modifications and maintenance, I have had no problems with this car, and I contribute that to the fact that it is a Toyota Lexus product. So let's talk about some of my favorite things about this car, and what better way than to start with this masterpiece under the hood, the 2UR GSE. Now, I've owned several Toyota Lexus products in the past. I've had several Camrys, 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, and this is my first Toyota Lexus V8. I have had other V8 vehicles. I had a 2017 Mustang GT. We currently have a 2013 Mustang GT with the 5-liter Coyote in it. And this engine is leagues ahead of those engines by a long shot. And let me explain. The Mustang and this car put down their power very similarly. They are lower displacement V8 engines. A 5-liter isn't exactly a big displacement V8. It's on the smaller side. So they don't make a whole lot of torque down low, but they make up for it for what they can do up top when they really get into their power band. Now this Lexus V8 is by far the smoothest engine I have ever driven as far as power delivery. It is very linear, and when you hit the pedal, you know what to expect. It is a nice smooth pull all the way to red line. It's not like a Dodge, like a Scat Pack or a 5.7 Hemi, where they make a ton of power down low, but then they peter off up top. This has none of that. It's not going to throw you back in the seat at, you know, 2,000–3,000 RPMs. But once you get up into the mid 4s, 6, you know, 5, 6, 7s, it's gonna pull like a freight train all the way to red line. It's not going to peter off. It's just going to keep on pulling, and that's kind of what I like about this engine and the way it delivers its power. I like a car that makes more power in the top end, because if you're making a ton of torque down low, you're going to blow the tires off the car before the car goes anywhere. And that's kind of what I like about this, is you can launch it all day. I put 285s on the back here, and it'll break the tires loose, but it doesn't roast them. It'll hook and then it'll go. And I also attribute that to the torque vectoring rear differential that this car has to help put that power down to both rear wheels. Now, another thing that I absolutely love about this car is the interior. This is a 2016, and it has roughly 39,000 miles on it. You'll see 38,871, and this interior has aged extremely well. I have no bolster wear whatsoever. I do have slight creasing here from your thighs on the seat, but other than that, the interior on this car is absolutely flawless. I don't have any of the delaminating of the carbon fiber that a lot of people complain about with these, but mine is garage kept. I don't know if it was before I bought it, but since we've had it, it's been in the garage. And you'll see our carbon fiber is in excellent shape. I even have my kids' booster seats back here, so you'll see my kids are back here. There's unfortunately some footprints on the back of my driver's seat here, but the interior on this car is holding up extremely well, and it is extremely comfortable to sit in this car and drive. So they say you have to pay a premium for power, and then you also have to pay a premium for luxury. So there's a reason why you can go buy a similar year-end mileage Mustang for between $18,000 and $25,000 depending on the condition, whereas something like this, these cars, lower mileage in good condition like this, are still selling for low to mid 50s. There's a reason that they're so expensive, and it's because they're rare, number one. Number two, they're sought after, and they offer a good mix of performance and luxury. So here we are in the cabin of the GS-F, and right now I am pointing at the biggest disappointment that this car has. The AA80E automatic transmission. Now, the fact that I'm really complaining about this is kind of petty, because it is a great, reliable transmission. The upshifts are extremely fast, especially when you're using your paddles or your shifter here. They are nice and firm. They are crisp. What I don't like is the downshifts when you're not using the flappy paddles or the shifter here. If you have it in normal mode or sport mode, cruising down the highway, and you put your foot to the floor, there is a good 2 or 3 second delay where the transmission kind of looks at you and goes, "What do you want me to do? Oh, you want me to go? Okay." And then it'll downshift, and then the car will take off like a bat out of hell. What I've learned to do with this car is, if I want it to do something, I tell it to do it. I usually have it in Sport S Plus, which will keep the car in a lower gear. It won't let it get into like 8th gear on the highway. It'll stay in 6th or 7th. And when I want it to go, like if I'm getting ready to pass somebody, I'll give the paddles a couple taps. It'll downshift real quick, and then it's ready to go. So this is one of the first cars that I've owned with paddles that when you're driving it, you really need to use them, because if you just let the transmission do its own thing, it doesn't do it very well. But when the pedals are being used, it's great. So keep that in mind. My next biggest gripe here is going to be with this infotainment system. Now, over the year that I've owned it, I have actually gotten pretty used to it. But would I prefer a touchscreen? Absolutely. The only problem is where they put the screen. The touchscreen is a little bit out of arm's reach. So I do understand why they gave us this flappy joystick. It's kind of annoying, but at the end of the day, you know, it works. It does its thing, and I've gotten to the point where I can use it without almost causing an accident when I'm driving. I don't have to look down at what I'm doing. I kind of got a, you know, pretty good grasp of where all the buttons are and what everything does. So it is going to take you some time to get used to, but you will get used to it, I promise. So let's talk the future for this car. What you're going to see over here in this bay is we went ahead and we mapped out where our 2-post lift is going to be going. So we are going to have a lift, and we are going to be able to do more things with the car than what we've done so far. And let's get into that. So I've already began working on a video for this for some mud flaps. Unfortunately, there are no good aftermarket mud flaps for these cars, or dirt guards, whatever you want to call them. I'm not looking to do like big gaudy mud flaps, but just something to keep the dirt from getting splashed down the side of the car, because they are, you know, especially with aftermarket wheels, they do stick out a little bit towards the bottom of the fender. So I've gone ahead and kind of rigged up a set of Rally Armor mud guards here in the front, and I've already gone and cut them to size. Once we get our lift done, we're going to go ahead and then mock up the rear. I do have the mud flaps for that, and when I'm done and I have everything set up the way I like it, we are going to do a video and show you just how we did it, so that if you guys want to do it, you can do that to your car as well, because I think they are a necessity. So if you look on top of our jet ski here, these are the blanks that I'm going to be using to go ahead and do the rear. Secondly, what you're going to see here is a brand new accessory drive belt. You're going to see a lightweight underdriven water pump pulley. You're going to see a lightweight in here to oil scavenge pump pulley. And then in here we have RR Racing's Ultimate Damper. Now this is going to be good for a couple of things. Number one, this is going to cut down rotational mass, the whole kit, by around 6 pounds, and that is a huge difference. Imagine having 6 pounds in your hand and trying to spin it. It's not easy. So if we can save this, like I said earlier, smaller displacement engine that is lacking torque down low, 6 pounds of having to spin something and make it snappier, it's going to respond better. So this is what we went with here. Now what's great about this is you'll see these threads here on the front of it. This is all ready to accept an additional pulley for RR Racing's supercharger. Now, if I'm being realistic, I don't think we're going to be able to put a supercharger on this car until it is paid off, and we are about halfway there. So bear with me on that. But I am setting the car up with supporting mods to be able to supercharge it when we are ready. We do have our RR Racing's air oil separator. We are going to have our Ultimate Damper here. And my goal this year with the car is to go ahead and put a nice set of headers on the car, also from RR Racing. And that's another thing I wanted to do. I wanted to take the time to thank the guys at RR Racing. I don't want to call them a channel sponsor, but they have hooked us up with plenty of things for this car. They helped us out with a giveaway for a oil cap to another GS-F owner, and they've been absolutely fantastic. So if you do have one of these cars, ISF, GS-F, IS500, LC500, check them out. They're great. They have, you know, my car is all outfitted. I have their intake, I have their heat shield, I have their beauty cover, I have their coilovers. I've had no problems with any of their products, and I am going to be installing this with the absolute confidence that it is not going to harm my engine. It is balanced, and it is going to increase my throttle response and help with the low end torque problem that these have. Now, we also have a set of 8 spark plugs for this bad boy here. We are going to be doing the spark plugs at some point this year. Again, once we have our lift set up, we're going to be really kind of diving in. I just wanted to take the time to show you how special these spark plugs are. They have 3 ground electrodes on them to help distribute the spark, which I think is actually pretty neat. Now, another thing we're going to be doing to this car is we're going to be servicing the transmission. It uses WS Toyota Trans Fluid. We're going to show you exactly how to do that. I know I've done videos on the torque vectoring differential. I've done videos on the coolant. I've done videos on the oil change, front brakes, flushing the brakes, but I haven't done one on the transmission yet, and I have had several people reach out. Don't worry, guys. It's in the works. It's going to happen. If you'll see here, we already went ahead and bought our oil drain with our transmission drain adapter here, so that when I do drop the pan, I'm not getting transmission fluid everywhere. It's going to be caught. So definitely stay tuned. We are going to have a ton of content coming to you guys for this car in the next year, and I hope that you guys will stick around and enjoy the fun. Before I forget to mention, our Revel medallion axle back that we have on the car is going to be up for sale. We do have a new axle back from RR Racing coming. We are going with their Bazooka valved exhaust, so it will have a quiet mode and a bazooka mode is what they call it, but it's quiet and loud. So I am excited to get that. That is actually on a 6-week back order, and we ordered it probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm hoping that we will be receiving it by the end of July, maybe the beginning of August, but do stay tuned. I am super excited to bring that video to you, and I think it's going to be fun seeing the difference in the sound. Now, with that being said, if you're watching this and you are in the tri-state area, so New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, even Connecticut, and you're interested in my Revel medallion exhaust, go ahead and shoot us an email. Our email should be in our channel description, and maybe we can work something out. I have it listed on Facebook right now, and I have a couple of people that are interested, but just in case you know, that falls back or doesn't work out, just let me know if you're interested, and we'll see what we can come up with. All right, guys, so I figured what better way to end this video than to give you a point of view drive, just to see how we have our car set up if you haven't already. So I'm just going to go ahead and put us into sport mode, and we'll hit it again, go into sport plus. Now this car does have a dynamic rev limiter, meaning when the engine is cold, it will not let you over rev it. So right now we only have access to 5,500 RPM. That is our red line right now. But as the engine warms up, which it will do rather quickly because it is pretty hot out still, it's still 75 or so degrees out, we'll be able to rev it out. Now, one other thing I don't like about this car is the BMW style turn signals. I do find it kind of confusing sometimes. If you say go put your blinker on and then you try to turn it off, you have to get it just right. If you hit it too far the other way, it'll turn the other blinker on. It's just kind of confusing. I prefer my traditional blinker over this crap. I don't know why they did that. I'm trying to be like BMW, but I don't even think BMWs have those kind of turn signals anymore. I think they went back to the normal stuff too. So Lexus, if you're still putting these blinkers in cars, I don't know, I haven't driven any of your newer stuff yet, please don't, because it's not very intuitive. So what you just saw there was the car shifting itself in sport mode. Like I said, the upshifts are super crisp, but when you have it in sport mode, it won't rev it out all the way unless you put it in manual mode. So now we're in manual mode. I'm gonna downshift down into second because I'm coming up to a turn here. It'll rev match. I can actually probably get down into first right now. There we go. Okay, and now we're gonna power out of the turn. And what's cool is the car will let you bounce it off the limiter when you shift, which is pretty neat. But what I want to show you now is we're gonna go into, let's go to normal mode here, and we're just gonna cruise. I'm gonna let it downshift or upshift into 8th gear, which is what it's doing now. And then I'm gonna put my foot straight to the floor. I'm gonna make it nice and loud so you hear the pedal hit, and I want you guys to count how long it takes for the car to downshift. 3, 2, 1. So that time it wasn't that bad, but there are times on the highway when you're doing 70, 80 miles an hour and you need to pass somebody. There. Like that. It didn't know what gear to go in, and it kind of looked like it got confused. Let's try again. Floor. That was the worst one of the video, and maybe the worst one that I've ever had. So like I said, if you want to drive this thing spiritedly, throw it in sport mode, use your paddle shifters, get it in the gear you want, and then have at it. And then the downshifts are awesome when they rev match. Well, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. Like I've said in numerous other videos, I wouldn't have this car if it weren't for you guys, and I wouldn't be where I am with my channel if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. You guys doing that will allow us to do more with this car to share with you. So again, like I always say, like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.